Hello, everyone. We are here today with Connor from Cloudhouse. They are a Glasgow-based indie punk or pop rock band. Sorry. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Neve? All right.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for coming on. So, let's start. Tell me more about the inspiration behind the single "Steal This Life."
For sure. So I would say it's a song about like finding someone, finding like a partner, finding someone that you want to be with, and just like that kind of initial first feeling you get, and then just like wanting to kind of hold on to that. That was kind of where it came from, where it started, and obviously it evolved into Steal This Life. But yeah, that's the kind of base, like kind of inspiration of it, basically.
And after kind of like listening to the song and kind of hearing the lyrics and all the rest of it, it, you know, it seemed personal. Is this something that, what was the process of writing that like? How much did you tap into your own experience from that?
You're so right. You've got it back on. Basically, it's literally just my story of like me and like my partner meeting each other. Like it's definitely like that story. And that's something that it's something that we as a band tend to do all the time. But we try and like make it almost almost like a wee bit more universal so that it's like kind of accessible so that it's like it's personal enough that like you say you're like, oh, this definitely seems like a story of someone, but also it could be like a song where like you listen to it and you're like, oh, I get my story from that. And that's what I love when I listen to music, like hearing like like my God, I feel like this song was written about me. So I hope that that's come across a wee bit, and I think that that's something that we're kind of keen to focus on. It's something we seem to do all the time. But yeah, the process was definitely just kind of I'm just going to write this story. I didn't like try and like hold it back or anything like that, but it was just it just worked out nicely in the end, which is quite good.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know that when I listen to it, you could see how that would a lot of people would relate to that, like as a story from their personal life. And I suppose kind of on that, while we're on this note, what is the process for you as a songwriter? Like, does it change depending on the song, or do you have like quite a strict way of doing things?
No, definitely not strict. I think the one thing I try not to force it is like because I hate that like sometimes um when we're playing we're like, oh, we need to write a song, we need to work on like songwriting, and I hate that feeling because it's like it just feels a bit too kind of forced, and it doesn't feel as kind of organic. So I try and just find time for myself where I've got like a couple hours. Sometimes I'll get just like a random idea and I'll write it like in my notes or my wee kind of book or whatever, and then I'll like sit down or try and finesse it. But yeah, definitely no kind of strict way of doing it. So I would say it's all over the place, and then I tend to write loads of verses for some reason. I can write verses like honestly, just see for this song, actually, see for Steal This Life, there must have been about 6 or 7 verses. And when I was playing it for the guys the first time, they were like, where is this going by the way? Like, because it just kept going on and on. So I find it quite hard to like tone that back. And then sometimes I'm like, right, maybe this can, work its way into a chorus or something like that. But I think as well as a band, as a kind of songwriting process, I would say that it never ever becomes like a finished product until we all work on it as a band because we all input and we'll go, oh, maybe change that wee bit because it's just good having like 5 different inputs on it, and it makes it better. So although maybe sometimes I'll write it acoustically originally, it definitely never like makes a complete song until the 5 of us have had like a good go at it and stuff. So yeah, I would say that's kind of how we get going.
And what is that dynamic in songwriting and kind of putting a song together with the band? What does that look like?
I would say it kind of starts off as like I'll send a terrible wee voice note in like WhatsApp or something like that, and then everyone starts putting in like ideas like, oh, I hear this and this, and all the kind of different vibes they're getting from it, and then we'll meet up, and we'll just jam it. Basically, we'll just play. We'll like, right, do you want to work on that song tonight? And we'll just kind of jam it, until it kind of morphs into something fairly complete. But I would say it takes a while. So I think Steal This Life. Um, I think I'd originally written the kind of basis of it maybe like last year, and then we were so kind of busy with our previous EP and kind of a wee tour and stuff that I think it was maybe like December, January. We're like, right, okay, we know where we want to record in February, which was when we recorded Steal This Life. So we just kind of like focused down, and we had a big board of like all the kind of songs, ideas that we're working on, and we just kind of like worked our way through them in terms of like demoing. That was kind of new for us. We've never kind of done that. We were like, right, okay, we've got 5 ideas. Let's see where we go. And it was quite cool because when we went to do the song, and the previous song called Broken. We recorded them back to back. We had like 5 ideas of like different songs, and we played it for the producers, and they were like, "Oh, we kind of like this," but then we focused on those two, and kind of chose them. And even to be honest, even when we got to the studio to record it, it still changed again. You know, it was like we added in the kind of big intro, which it never had before. It just kind of started. So wee things like that still make its way, like even on the day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, totally. I know that, me personally, like if I whatever creative process it is, that there's always stuff that you've got the original idea and how far it strays from that path, I think is
Yeah.
always quite an interesting journey to kind of follow along and like, is this
Oh, man.
anything like the original that we ever had, you know? And I mean, you guys have been a band for what, 5 years now, and a lot can happen in that space of time. What would you say have been some of the kind of highs and lows of that journey?
Interesting. I would say, I think going on our first tour, we did like a kind of wee tour of Scotland, and that was like amazing. And it was like the first time we were going like and playing outside of Glasgow and having folk come and see us in like different Scottish cities. That was like the kind of first big high, I think. Um, and then doing like a UK one, which was even more mad, going to like places like Leeds and stuff where we had people come to see us there. So that was, I would say, there's kind of big highs like that. In fact, even this current tour we're doing just now, the last 3 gigs have sold out, 3 on the bounce, and that's just been like unbelievable. And it's at that point where it's not just like a lot of the time it used to be just like some pals and some family and stuff, and now it's getting to the point where it's like here we're all kind of laughing like here, do you know that guy, do you know that person, do you know this, like, and we don't know them, so it's like it's a really cool feeling, and we're all kind of getting a real good buzz off that. So I would say lots of highs. Did you ask me if there was lows? Did I make that up? Did you say highs and
No, no,
lows?
no, I did. I did.
Yeah, I say that. I try to think, what would it be? I think just like not a low, but I guess just like a kind of hard thing is just like sticking together. It's like 5 years, and obviously 2 years, 2.5 years of that was COVID. So still being like, when this is over, we're going to give this a right good go. And I know we always when we were talking, it's like, yeah, it's 5 years of the band, but it's like 2.5 years of that was like nothing. Do you know what I mean? It was like, yourself, it was just ridiculous. Um, so I think just keeping together during that period, especially the first part of it when you weren't like seeing anybody and all that, I think that's been pretty good that we've done that, because I know a lot of bands, a lot of pals bands, just kind of chucked it during that point and we're just like, we can't be bothered with this. And after coming back, because it's been so hard coming back, um, like in terms of like tickets and the way the cost of living crisis is, it's so hard for people to come out of gigs and have expendable income for stuff like this. So, it's definitely been a mad period. So I'm really proud of us that we've kind of stuck with it, and we're just like, nah, we just need to keep going all the time.
And so how did that period of COVID and kind of that you're not seeing anyone, you don't have your usual like stimulus that you usually would that maybe makes you want to write a song or do something. How did that period like impact your creative process for the worse or for the better?
I think it was the first half of it was okay because we'd been playing gigs, and a lot of the songs we were playing at the gigs we hadn't recorded yet. So for the first kind of year of that, it was like, right, wait a minute, well, we've got 5 or 6 songs that we can actually finish and we can actually do. And we tried to do like, the same as everybody else do, like we kind of online videos, and we tried to get people interacting with us and stuff. And we did this video for a song where we got like everyone to like hold up a separate lyric, so it was kind of like just loads of people doing. So we did stuff like that, try to be a wee bit creative. Um, so those songs I think kind of held us through the first period of it, which was good. And then it was hard to kind of find songs. I think after that for just like a wee section, and that was definitely a kind of trial and error period where we were like we brought a load of songs and we scrapped a load of songs. We were like, oh, this maybe sounds good, and then we just put it to bed and we just forgot about it. So it was definitely a big kind of trial and error period, and I think now kind of where we're at now in terms of writing, that whole period just kind of benefited us. Sorry, my God, I can't even speak. It benefited us, just because we got a lot of like songs that weren't maybe that good out our system, and hopefully now we're kind of like right, well, we kind of know our process a bit better, and we kind of know what we're wanting. So I guess it kind of helped in a sense, but it did. It was a period where it was like, there's a lot of crap coming here. We just need to like move on. And
Yeah, no, I can imagine for a while it must have been hard to not write a song that involved COVID. Like I know when I was doing like interviews and stuff, it was like that whole thing. It's I hated asking the questions. So what was life like during COVID? Because it's one of those things where like everyone talks about.
yeah,
But yeah,
sure.
and I mean, from that, you guys have since played like your fair share of in-person gigs, like live venues, and including some live stream performances. Do you have any favorite venues that you've played over the years?
Think King Tut's last year was amazing. That was pretty special. I think also Sneaky Pete's in Edinburgh. We played that. We played that in 2022, as a kind of this feeling gig. With a bunch of other bands, and it was really good. Like we really enjoyed it. Obviously, it's a dead tiny wee venue. It's like sweaty, proper rock venue, but we played it last month and we sold it out ourselves, and it was just absolutely jumping. Um, and after the show, we're all like, I think that's like up there as one of the best shows. And even McCool's last week, McCool's was unbelievable. Like we did 2 nights back to back, um, and it was so special. I think coming back. So the Saturday for us coming back after we'd done it, feeling so comfortable from the first night. I think we all really really enjoyed those shows. So they're definitely some of the best ones.
McCool's is a really good venue. I shadowed one of the sound guys that worked in there. Um,
Nice.
and just it's for kind of like indie bands, it's just the place to be. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. I don't know if it's the acoustics. I don't know if it's like the vibe of the place, but like it's there's no
Sound was
dead
amazing. The
night. I don't
sound
think.
was, yeah, it was just so good, and it was such good. Everybody was amazing. The staff were amazing. Like everybody was just so nice, just so welcoming. Like it was a great couple of nights for us.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. And I suppose kind of we sort of touched on things like COVID, but have there been any major challenges over the years as a band?
Trying to think, I'm not saying it's all been rosy. I think just I don't think there's been like mad challenges. I mean, when we first started, Pat, who's the lead guitarist, originally played bass, for like the first month before we kind of were proper kind of started. And I think just that transition period when he switched over to lead guitar, because it turns out he was this unbelievable guitarist. Because we were actually searching for a lead guitarist, and then Pat was like, we kind of told Pat to try it, and he was just unbelievable. So that period of trying to find a kind of guitarist was probably quite tricky, and just that initial period. But I'm struggling to think. I would say just it's definitely not been all rosy because there's like challenges and stuff. Just like, trying to make all gigs work and making sure like, because we all still work, do you know what I mean? We've all still got jobs, trying to make that work around doing a tour and stuff. I would say those things are definitely really hard when you've got bosses that don't want to play ball, and do you know what I mean? And it's definitely difficult in that manner. But the five of us are best pals. Like we got on so well, we have to be because we meet up, you know, 2, 3 nights a week. We're spending so much time. We're chatting to each other practically 24 hours a day. So that's kind of an easier question because I'm just struggling to find an answer.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean it's nice to hear that though. I know that like I've friends, bands or whatever, and you hear all these kind of stories about people falling out and it's all this kind of carry on and you've got to have that like solid
Hmm.
foundation, otherwise it's just not gonna work. Um
Definitely.
and was it being friends in the first place that made you guys want to form Cloud House, or did that the friendship come afterwards?
Yeah, a wee bit of both. I mean, Patrick and I knew each other through a kind of mutual friend. And we kind of the our mutual friend had passed away, and we met up basically after the funeral. You know, it was kind of like that, and it was we had like a really good connection. And then we kind of parted ways for a bit, maybe chat on and off, and then I just wanted to really start a band. I'd been playing like acoustic myself, but I just wanted to be in a band. That was all I've kind of wanted to do. And for some reason, I've told this story so many times, but I thought Pat played the bass. I thought Pat played the bass, which is why he originally played bass. And I was like, "Do you want to come play bass in this thing with me?" And he said yes, even though he didn't really play the bass because he wanted to be in a band as well. So that's how we kind of started for Pat and I, and then we found Jack. Um, Online. He was just looking for a new band. He'd been playing in bands over the years. And then when we eventually found our bassist, Callum, Jack brought him from a previous band, so they were friends. And also Morgan, who didn't join till a little bit later, he was also friends with Jack and Callum. Um, and yeah, so there was kind of like wee mini friendships in it, I guess. And that just morphed into kind of the five of us all being kind of best of pals, which is great.
Nice to hear. Yeah. It's funny how kind of someone knows someone and then there was this connection and then it all kind of just comes together.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and this is a question that I quite like to ask. So there's this theory that your life is made up of moments and experiences, and we're all just like a tapestry of all the experiences that we've ever had. I'm
Mhm.
curious to hear either yourself or Cloudhouse as a band, what you reckon that tapestry might look like. What would maybe be like three things that are in that tapestry?
Three things that are on the tapestry. That's a great question. Oh my God. Never thought of it like that. Um, I think for the band, I don't want to sound too like cheesy, but like I can imagine on that the five of us being in like a tour van and just all absolutely killing ourselves laughing. I can imagine something like that because like those moments, like you know that do you ever watch the US Office? You
Uh-huh.
ever watch
Yeah. Yeah.
so you know that bit? It's like I think it's later in the series when Andy's like, um, I wish there was a way to know, or maybe it's Michael, you were in the good old days before you've left them, or something like that. And like I remember, like we said that, like we just brought that up at one point, but like it's so true because we're always thinking all the time, right? We need to do this, we need to get here, we need to get here. We're always trying to chase that next thing, but like this bit is so much fun and like cannot underestimate like we've we're just five we guys in a band and we've sold out 3 nights on the bounce in two different like cities. It's unbelievable. So I would say that one. I would say what could be another thing that would be on it. Uh, hmm. I feel like I need to put like a special mention for Jack. Jack's the drummer in our band, but he's also like our tech aficionado. He's so like clued up on everything and he does so much for the band. So I feel like Jack needs to get his own dedicated like section on the tapestry of just him like fixing everything. Maybe he's weaving the tapestry or something because that's
He's actually making the whole
yeah, he's
tapestry.
actually making it. He's like the top, just like forming it all. Um, and then what would another thing be? Um, what would it be? We always get like we always get a photo at the end of our gigs, and for the last few ones, or maybe not just those two ones, but the previous ones, we managed to like do the exact same pose. Like Callum's kind of lying across at the bottom, and we'd all just kind of like huddled round, and it's like it's so weird seeing the photos side by side with like different photos because it's different people in different places, but like we all get the exact same expression. So I feel like that photo has to be in there as well because that's like a pure iconic photo for us. Like, so
I
that
love
that's
that.
that's my three.
I love that. It sounds like you guys are just all on the same wavelength all the time, and it's just like a big laugh, which I love.
It
It's
is.
probably just
It's
doesn't feel like work to you guys though. It's just like just fun.
yeah. I think it's definitely fun. I think the work side of it is probably it's not the music, like the gigging stuff is and the music is the best bit, but it's the doing the social media and it's doing like, you know yourself doing
I mean,
all that stuff and sending emails and it's like, oh, that's the frustrating bit, like because we're
yeah.
still, doing everything herself and booking everything herself, running a store, our merch store, everything, just like keeping all that going. Um, so it's like we always, every time we're doing something like that, we're like being a band. They said, make music. They said like it's
I know,
just
I know.
there's so much to do that's not music. So it's just those bits, but the rest of it is just the best time. It really is.
I think that's kind of unfortunately at this level you've kind of got to be a jack of all trades,
For sure.
but it pays off in the end.
For
Um,
sure.
and I mean you said that you played venues like King Tut's and McCool's and stuff, and that obviously sees quite a lot of like new and upcoming talent. I'm
Mhm.
curious to see, is there anyone on your on your radar, anyone who's kind of caught your eye recently that's on the scene?
Um, we've played with a band called Red Vanilla, from Dundee. They supported us. They opened for us at McCool's last week, and we played with them up in Dundee. A few months, was it maybe June? Maybe I think the start of June, maybe. They're a cracking band. They're doing really well. They just get such a cool sound, and they're a really good group of people. They're just so lovely. Yeah, you should definitely check them out.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I'm always looking for like new artists and stuff.
Sure.
It's kind of how this whole thing came about. Is it like I can see the big, the big ones on Spotify anytime, but it's like finding the wee hidden gems that you
For
you
sure.
just wouldn't
That's
um
class.
get otherwise. And that I suppose kind of brings us to the final question. What is next on the cards for Cloudhouse?
So next for us, we're going to London for the first time in a couple of weeks. We're playing down there. We're playing in the Camden Eye on the 11th of October. And we're very, very excited for that. London, I think, is our second biggest or maybe our third biggest place for like listeners. Um, so when we announced it, we've had quite a kind of like decent reception of folk like we're coming to that. It's tickets on the door only, which will be quite interesting because that's again something we've never really done before. It's always obviously all kind of pre-ticketed and all that kind of thing. So I'm hoping it will sell out on the night. So that would be just an absolute milestone ticked off. But after that, we're going to record again. We're going to record on a couple of songs in the new year. We've got one more song finished, ready to go, but we're just kind of weighing up when to release it. We were going to release it in October, but I think we're just going to wait to the new year, just to give it more time to get. We're still finishing the artwork and stuff and things like that. So yeah, we'll have three come the first week of February. We'll have three new songs, and that will be, I reckon, maybe like February, April, June time covered. Yeah, so that's the plan, and that's going to hopefully keep us going for the next few months.
Awesome. It sounds like you've got it all thought out. And yeah, I will definitely keep an eye out for all of the new stuff that's coming out.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Definitely. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on. Stay in touch and I'll see you around.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you.